right, real quick. So I told y'all I was gonna start tossing out videos that relate to ideas, just connecting ideas and thoughts. So I wanted to do this one for Pisces, and if you're cross watching, this can help you understand Pisces. Also, if you're another sign, you can learn something from this because other than an Aries, all signs can understand that they have different feelings about different signs being in different houses for themselves as well. You'll find this, and this is apart from your natal chart, everybody who's listening. So, of course, you all have natal charts that you probably study, and you might look at yourself to be that every day of every hour of every day. However, as I've mentioned in other videos, it's also the solar chart, the sundial, and that refers to the horoscopes that you read every day in the paper or online or however you read your horoscopes, for those of you that do. So being a Pisces, and some Pisces don't even learn this until later, right? You might if you just scratching the surface of astrology, you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm a Pisces, so I'm dreamy, and I'm a visionary, and film is like my number one priority and stuff like that. But it's like it's deeper than that, because the sign Pisces represents everything in unison, everything together, and on a highly spiritual level at that. So it's not as materialistic as one would think, because we live in a material world. The part that is spiritual, Pisces taps it more into that. So here you are, and you have that under the solar dial, under the sundial, you have that in the first house. So when you think about first house, you think about being born. You're thinking about hitting the ground running. You're thinking about getting things started, and taking action before even thinking a lot of the times. It's like you learn from working memory. You do something, you remember it, and then you repeat the process. The more you repeat the process, the more your muscle memory grows, and this is how you become experienced, right? Now, for Pisces, being a Pisces is not as concretely simple as that. It's more like you wake up days thinking you're having deja vu every day. Sometimes being a Pisces, you're in a sea of thoughts, and it's like, oh, I've been here before, I've done this before. And that's why some people say, oh, Pisces think they know it all. They have this God complex and stuff like that. And a lot of the times you could tell a Pisces, yo, I know this, I know that. And Pisces would be like, oh, I know that already. You know what I'm saying? That's if they're vocal about it, but they might just keep it to themselves a lot of the times too, and just be like, yeah, I knew that already. You know what I'm saying? But you can just go along with your conversation and let you talk and say what you got to say. But this is what being a Pisces is like, y'all. I'm just keeping it official. You know what I mean? And for it to be in the first house, it's like, take action. People be like, oh, Pisces is timid, or Pisces is secretive. You don't know, because they're not showing you themselves. Pisces is not showing you their shell all of the time, and showing you the moves that they make, because it's such a spiritual, damn near invisible sign in the first house, which embodies the actual body of an individual. It shows you, that's like the ascendant, right? It shows you the persona of an individual. In Pisces, it's like the double slit experiment. You know what I'm saying? If you're not looking, you don't know where Pisces is at, and if they don't show themselves, it's like, yo, what's up with this person? You know what I'm saying? So now we get into the second house, right? It gets even more complex, because the second house is the sign of Aries for Pisces. So this is the sign of action. This is all about being in your head. Aries rules the head. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying Aries are all in their head, but it's taking charge, it's moving forward and stuff. And for a Pisces, this lands in the second house under the solar dial. So all of these thoughts that are narrowed and ready to, damn near tunnel vision, that they grabbed from their sea of thoughts, they're ready to go and dart and take action on these things. However, when you land in the second house is the house of Taurus. So now it's like, well, I'd better slow down and think of a plan and come up with a methodology before I jump out there and do X, Y, and Z, because I want to be precise and concise when I do it. That's a whole Taurus method thing. That's a whole, hold on, wait, I'm not just doing anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to think about this first. Make sure this is something that I totally can feel myself getting into, or I don't want no parts of it, right? So just think about the levels of anxiety that a Pisces can face because of this. Not only that, it deals with the second house, deals with the money house, right? So you might want to do a whole bunch of things related to money, regarding to money, and people might be watching you too, influencing you and giving you advice and be like, why you didn't do this? Why you don't do that? You're so good at this. Why you don't do this? Why you don't do that? And it's because a lot of the times Pisces freezes because they're thinking about their wallet. They're thinking about a method to apply something before they just jump out there and get something started. Now, also another thing to think about is Pisces are finishers, a cadent house, you know what I mean? Mutable energy, so they're better at packaging things and selling it. Pisces rules over sales, Pisces rules over like packaging, and the whole artwork being packaged, because it's the end of things, right? We're ending things off at the 12th sign. But here we are in the second house, and you're like, you should do this. Why it take you so long to do this? And why you should post more and stuff like that. And Pisces just be looking at y'all like, man, if you don't, because we don't want to tell y'all like, yo, shut up. I trust me, I've been through this time and time and time again. I failed more times than you. But we sometimes we try to be modest, and we just like, yeah, I hear you. I hear you, but I'm working on something. I'm thinking about something. And in all actuality, it's this. It's because we've experienced so much of this anxiety relative to Aries being in the second house under the solar dial for us. I'm going to talk about more about, I'm always going to drop a video about perhaps utilizing other planets instead of the solar dial, because I think some people actually do this. I believe people in ancient times definitely did this, like the Mayans and stuff like that. And that can also have an impact on how people live in their lives, because it's predominantly sun worship out here, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just toss a video out there like, well, what if we used Saturn, or what if we used Mars, and etc., etc. All right, so you get to the third house. We got now peep this, right? You get into the third house. Third house is ruled by Gemini. Gemini is a quick sign. It's quick-witted. It likes to send messages and back and forth real quick, connect ideas, consolidate ideas real quick. Just get the mental engine running, and even do some things with the hands. You know what I'm saying? Run some errands, get it all knocked out in one day, right? Boom. And then for Pisces, it lands in the sign of Taurus. So again, think about the anxiety issues that a typical Pisces can go through, because now here it is, these quick thoughts we want to fire off in our mind, and it's in the sign of Taurus that says gradual, slow. No, I don't want to do this. I'm being lazy today. I work hard all of the time, so just fall back and let me enjoy this time to myself. So you can practice this too by when the moon enters inside of Taurus. You can feel how slow the day goes by, and as a Pisces, you'll have all these thoughts pinging through your head, bing, 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 and you might communicate 2 of them. Oh man, could be exhausting. So moving right along, the sign Gemini is inside of Cancer. Now this is where things get to start to even out a little bit, because the speed, you got a cardinal speed and you got a mutable speed here, which can help each other. It's like we're finally coming around the bend, so to speak. You know what I mean? And Pisces begins to realize that their thoughts reflect their home life a lot. So it's careful to mind. It's beneficial to mind our thoughts. Although there's so many of them, the things that we think about, this is how our daydreaming becomes so powerful. The things that we think about usually can come into fruition just by thinking of them. And I know what you're thinking, like, oh no, that's wishful thinking. And yes, it is. However, I'm telling you, some daydreams of a Pisces have come true. Now the thing that can be mentally draining when it comes to Gemini being in the 4th house under the solar dial for us is that these things may not come into fruition until years later. I mean, years down the line. So I give you an example of some astral projections that I've had maybe a decade ago. Some of them are just now coming into fruition, just now coming into reality. So yes, some astral projections can come into reality. That's a fact. So this is how our daydreaming system works as well. Like we maybe come up with this great idea and we'd be like, yeah, this is how it's going to go, and this and the third. We maybe begin to start applying it and moving it forward and everything. And we can trick ourselves into believing that we failed so many times, when in all actuality, it just isn't time yet. Divine timing comes into place here. And although both of these, the sign is quick, the house is quick, the reason that it takes time is because the 4th house is about the later years in life. And I didn't notice, I put it this way, I didn't pay attention to that when I first started thinking about this video. And then I realized, like, oh, that's why later years of life, fourth house is about retirement funds and, stacking a nest egg and stuff like that. So that's why it takes time for these ideas to form into, into come into solid form. So then we got what? We got the sign Cancer being inside of the fifth house. This makes us hopeless romantics. Like, this is where Pisces get this whole hopeless romantic thing from. It's because here we are in a house of romance, right? Where it's supposed to be fun and this, that, and the third, and we're trying to mother our significant others. Like, we're trying to like smother them and be like, oh, speak cute shit, you know what I'm saying? And just be like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? We're just being real cool. Like, if you met Cancers, and I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the ones that you meet that so well that then you be like, oh, this person can get me nasty. Like, nah, I'm talking about when you just meeting a Cancer and all that, the level of cool that they're at, like, we're on that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, how can you argue with us? How can you get into any debates or any type of shit with us? We're just so genuinely cool because we want to come across as kind. And, we know the whole relationship thing of how you be kind, people be kind back, even if you're not in the mood. A lot of the times we're so moody, sometimes we're not even in the mood, we don't want to talk to you, and we'll still turn on a smile and be like, hey, how you doing, how was your day, and da-da-da. And this lands in a house of romance for us. And sometimes chicks just be like, yo, I wish you would just start an argument with me. You know what I'm saying? And I know those be those toxic types, y'all. I know what you're saying. But at the same time, sometimes chemistry does jump off with that. So I like, catch me in one of those moods where I am moody sometimes. There's chicks that I've met and I've been like just meeting them and I'd be like, we don't hit it off because I be in a mood, and I just be like, yo, we start off as like enemies and then we end up being the greatest of pals or the greatest of fuck buddies or some shit like that. And it's just like, yo, remember when I first met you? I'd be like, yeah, I ain't like you. The fuck, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes it takes chemistry like that, or which I would call toxic chemistry like that to get things going, and just be like, yo, you learn the things that you don't like about each other at first, and then you start learning the things that you do like about each other, and you be like, oh, well, you're not so bad. You know what I'm saying? I just got to put up with some of this other shit real quick, but then I could get with you. But back to my point. Hopeless romantic is because we come across as this caring, loving, will nurture you, and a lot of the times that becomes a fault with us because the fifth house is generous at that. So you correlate those two gestures, and it's just like, before you knew it, Pisces is like behaving head over heels for someone that they just like. It's just dating, and it's just like, wait a minute, we put ourselves out there too much too quick, and we learn from that, right? So the sign Leo being inside of the sixth house, this is where another placement where we feel more pleasurable at, we feel more comfortable, because we feel pleasure in doing our work. The sign Leo is about pleasure and being jovial, upbeat, optimistic. So whatever it is that we do routinely, we feel like we're good at it. We feel like we can be the best at that. You know what I mean? And it's the sixth house of Virgo, so work keeps us grounded. You know what I mean? As long as we do it routinely, we're like, oh, okay, I can make something out of this now. This is why we also love the entertainment industry, the film industry, and things of that nature, because Leo resides here under the sixth house. So a lot of the times Pisces can very much feel at home when they're doing something along the arts that is routine. Now the sign, what's next, y'all? The sign Virgo inside of the seventh house. This can get complex. This could get irritating for us because this means we have to show ourselves, right? And when we show ourselves, we don't care about what people say. But Virgo is a sign that cares about what people say. So now here it is. This is the public arena, the seventh house. You know what I mean? So it's just as simple as, to explain this as briefly as I can, it's as simple as posting something, right? Again, we don't give a fuck about what nobody has to say about us. But then this post gets so much attention, and it could be critique, good, bad, and all of that. And again, we don't care, but the world cares. You know what I mean? So sometimes we could just sit back and laugh at this shit, like, and I only post once in a while. Like, I'm not the selfie king or whatever the case may be, but look at how these people are going off on this picture, this one photo. You know what I mean? Or it could be a slogan. You could say a phrase or something to be like, they'd be like, oh, Pisces being deep again and shit. You know what I'm saying? Say what you want to say, but this is the shit we on. You know what I'm saying? We don't really care too much for the opposite of Virgo when it comes to this stuff, because the earth takes so much put so much emphasis on what it is that we do outwardly, and we're such an inward person, and we just like look at the crowd go, you know what I'm saying?